Hi, my name is Tanner Svenson. Today we are sitting down with two people who helped shape female hockey in our community for the past 25 years. This interview isn't just about a tournament, it's about commitment, belief, and the people who choose to show up year after year. Luke and Jim, thank you for giving us the chance to hear your story.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tanner.
And Luke, what inspired you to start this tournament 25 years ago? What was missing at that time?
Well, I was in the boys program for 10 years prior to that because I had two sons playing. I was coaching them. And then I shouldn't say they aged out, but they got to the AA programs. And then our youngest daughter, was starting to play hockey also because she wanted to play like her brothers. So basically, she had been on boys teams for a couple of years, and we had enough girls' interest. And we did the survey and did some phoning around, and we were able to put a team of what we used to call in that time was Adam and Pee Wee girls. Went to Pee Wee Hockey. I was on the board at that time also, and asked if we could put an all-girls team and then be able to play in a boys division. So we were not basically Adam and Pee Wee girls playing in an Adam boys division. So that's kind of where it started. And it was a win, plus win for both female program and the male program because little Johnny didn't want to lose to the girls, and little Susie wanted to show that they could play hockey. So it was a win-win situation for Prince Albert Minor Hockey with female teams starting to come on board. So that's kind of where it started there. And as far as the tournament, about a year or 2 years in, at our meeting where we decide with tournaments, the date came up. And nobody wanted to take that date because of the proximity to Christmas and New Year's. And I says, well, I'm sure we can do something with the girls. And we kind of took that date and we ran with it. And then basically our goal was not to change that date and stay with it, to create continuity. And then teams know that that date is always Prince Albert Minor Hockey Tournament, and you can find a place to come and play. So that's kind of where it all kind of started from.
Amazing history there.
Yeah.
And another question for you, Luke. In the early years, what challenges did you face and what kept you going?
Well, the challenges, of course, was trying to get teams to come. I was involved with Saskatchewan Female at that time. We didn't have the Saskatchewan Female League as it is. There was the formation then of a North League and a South League. And in those times, actually, both Regina and Saskatoon were not even part of it. They didn't want to take in it. So basically it was mostly rural areas, small communities, the Melfords, the Humboldts, the Biggers, all that started. And prior to the AA programs taking place or evolution of female hockey in the province, that's kind of the motivation we wanted to keep it going. So yeah, and the challenges of then trying to form leagues, and then of course that there's a lot of work that has to be done prior. It just doesn't start right at the hockey season. It's the beginning of at the end of the season, trying to form organizations and constitutions and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. And when you look at the tournament today, what makes you most proud?
Well, it's just the number of teams, the caliber of the people. If they haven't gone to watch a female hockey team or a game or whatever, will be very surprised at the caliber of hockey. These girls can skate, they can shoot, they can play the game just like the boys. And sometimes it can be a little bit more rougher than the boys, and they know how to angle and all that. So that is the one thing with that, and being able to have an opportunity here to showcase our little association of Prince Albert, to be able to put on this magnitude of a tournament. And it's without saying is the committee people behind it, all the people that are involved. I mean, it takes a lot of people to make something happen. And in the end, it always has been, it's for the athletes and to showcase our city and our association.
Amazing. And was there a moment you realized this had become more than just a tournament?
I think so. I think all the way along, we always want to, be able to do as a community, something to involve the community, to get involved or rally behind it. I think is something that you want. And if you can do that consistently and different people have stepped up over the years, and of course our wives. So, like I say, over the years, that was a big fat thing with it. Besides not just not being home, but doing the typing and doing this, and there's a lot of things we did, prior to the province actually taking the majority of the organization to form the different leagues, like on. As we got into the tournaments, we weren't into Double A yet, but our older team, we held a skills competition on a Saturday evening, where everybody had to send 5 skaters. That rink was just packed. The Kinsman was packed, and the camaraderie that the girls all had everybody out in the ice, and became friends, because at the long end, you're shouldn't say rivals, but you could end up playing college hockey or university hockey. Then it's a thing that they made friendships and got to know people, and being good people. That's what you want to have, is that they learn to have good people skills.
What have the athletes taught you over the years?
Well, I think just the friendship they make. You can see the camaraderie with the teams, and the life skills that they were able to attribute to playing with a team. Being good citizens, being good people, being ambassadors for our city. We've got some playing at very high levels now that came out of this program, or female hockey in the province. So that's something, to shoot for. It's like everybody's dream to be on the AHL. It's the same with these girls now, having a place to play at a very competitive level. And then, like I say, of course, with Team Canada and the women's hockey program, the success of that, I think, just drives all our younger players to strive for that also. So.
Up to success, what values do you believe this tournament represents?
I think it represents community. It represents, working together to make it happen. There's always a few, but there's always fun. Like, I think, like I say, making the draws and finding out somebody drops out at the end, that type of thing. So, but it's a challenge, but it's a rewarding challenge, because at the end, you see all those happy faces when they, go on and off the ice, type of thing. Because at the end of the day, it's not always about winning; it's about being, being team. So,
what do you hope players carry with them long after their playing years?
Well, the memories, the friendships they made, type of thing. The people they got to meet, being able to have the opportunity to play sports, because there's a lot of kids that don't get that opportunity, don't have the opportunity for many reasons, financial, non-commitment type of thing. But being able to say they were part of that, and they got to thank their parents, because without them, like I say, there's you have to get to the rink, you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that, and be supportive, type of thing. So, and there's been a lot of great coaches that have helped these girls along, and it's not only at the game level, but it's also school, and all the other stuff that goes with becoming a teenager. So,
absolutely. Looking back, what mattered then that doesn't matter as much now?
I think, like, competitiveness is always part of the game, and it never will go away from the game. But be competitive, but be respectful, be a sportsman. Let's put it that way. If you can show sportsmanship and be a leader for that part of it, and make sure everybody on your team, you work together. So I think that's the main thing now, is to me, is seeing these teams and what it offers them, for future life skills. So.
And another question here is, what do you hope people always understand about why this tournament was started?
Well, I think it was, to showcase female hockey, of course, community involvement, our association. We're not a very big, as far as numbers go in the province, type of thing. We're a small city, basically, and be able to do what we do offer is quite unique. The city has stepped up in so many ways for everything, from Hope's Home to, all the new facilities that we have around here. Like, you take a size of this city and the rinks we have, the gyms we have, and now this new facility with the pool. That's quite an accomplishment for a population of maybe 40,000. So,
Absolutely. All right, Jim. It's time for you to answer some questions. What motivated you to get involved 6 years after it began?
Well, I guess it started back there. My son and Luke's son was asked to take over the U18 AA teams and coach them, and they were young then. They were just really young, so they said, well, they would look at doing it if you dads would come and help. So we ended up helping them that year, and then the next year they kind of thought that was enough of their coaching debris. So Luke and I ended up taking the bull by the horns sort of thing, and been coaching ever since. I always had many years of experience coaching the boys. I did the boys hockey like Luke before we started with the girls, so I think that was just kind of fit right in.
That's awesome. What stood out to you about what Luke had already built?
Well, I guess instead of having girls on boys teams, we looked at it that the girls would have their own team to do, and with Luke's vision in before that in the future, that's how it kind of come around.
Awesome. And how was your role changed as the tournament grew?
Well, it started out just helping Luke coach and doing those kind of things, and using my experience with helping volunteering with the boys and everything else, doing things. So then it turned out that I helped Luke look after the tournament, and then eventually it went to where I became the tournament coordinator.
Okay, and what has surprised you the most about the impact?
I think it was the good organization of and finding lots of volunteers. That's the big thing. Without volunteers, we wouldn't be able to put on this kind of a tournament. But we do need those kind of people, and it's been nice to be able to see them every year. We always seem to get some good volunteers stepping up and helping out.
Awesome. And what keeps you coming back?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know how many
Tiebreakers, the tiebreaking rules.
I know a lot of people. I've never had a daughter in hockey. I've always just had my son that's played hockey. So it's one of those things that I was just flabbergasted at how quickly the female has grown. Like Luke had mentioned, they started out with 6 teams, and now this year we have 74 teams in the tournament with all the different age groups. So that's quite an accomplishment for this size of a city.
Absolutely. And how would you describe the partnership required to steward this together?
I think the big one there would be that we have a common goal of developing female hockey is the big thing, and doing that kind of stuff.
Okay. And what makes this tournament special than the others?
Well, I think the size of the tournament. The big thing here, like I mentioned before, we start off small, and now it's large, and it's probably one of the largest ones in the province, and maybe even in all of Canada for female hockey. There's no real numbers on that, but when you go from 6 to 74, that's a big accomplishment.
How has your define of success changed?
I think the overall development of female hockey and the number of teams involved in the tournament. As the years have gone by, you've seen how they do progress, and how much better they're getting, and all the different things that they can do now compared to when they first started out.
Mm-hmm. And last question for you, Jim, is what advice would you give future leaders or volunteers?
To focus on the goal, or our goal, or I guess if you want to look at it that way, but just focus on it and not give up. Even if you have a bad year or something, not to just give up and let it go by the wayside. The girls need someplace to play, and we do well for that.
What does it take behind the scenes to keep this going every year?
Well, you have to have a good organization and lots of volunteers, finding good volunteers to come out and help. But I think too, you start the tournament early and you promote it, and you're getting good people, so that you don't have to be looking for teams at the last and hoping to fill those spots. For us in the female tournament, since I've been the coordinator, we've had teams joining as early as in June. Teams come back to us from the previous years saying, when is your tournament? And they, of course, the new ones and the other ones, the older ones, know that we are having it at this time every year. So there's lots of teams that are managing different. They've managed teams over the years, and those people they'll put their name in and get their team in, even if they haven't got one just yet. They know that they're going to have one, and that makes a big difference, for hockey.
So now, Luke and Jim, this is a question that both of you could answer, or one or the other. And first question is, when you hear 25 years, what image comes to mind?
We're getting old. Seriously, that time has flown, and all of a sudden you really notice it when you're on the street. All of a sudden you meet somebody that was part of the team or part of the committee, or especially the girls. Now these young ladies now have kids playing themselves, type of thing, or close to graduating, some of them, type of thing. So yeah, and like I say, it wasn't only just the Prince Albert kids. We had kids from out of town that came and played here, made friends here, type of thing, and then meet them. They went back to the community. So it's just, oh man, 25 years has gone by.
Are there people who helped along the way that you would like to acknowledge?
Well, I think everybody that was able to help, definitely our wives for sure, be number one, because otherwise we'd be in trouble. I think anybody that has stepped forward to make this a reality, not so much a reality, but a showcase, let's put it that way. Whatever we do, even if it, like Jim was saying, bad years, there was never really a bad year, because that tournament was held. And you make it whatever you want, right? Is you can make it feel like you didn't have a good time. It's your own fault, because it was there. Like I say, we'll build it. You come, kind of thing. So,
all right, Jim. There's a long-standing joke that people thought you were a couple because you coached side by side for so long. With humor, what did that partnership really look like?
I know a lot of some people thought that our wives were rarely seen. They were behind the scene. Lots of people, when we went to the hockey games and on the buses and stuff, well, our wives always stayed home. We always people thought maybe we were an old couple sort of thing. But they did behind the scene phone, fielded lots of phone calls. They helped out with the scheduling, like you said, and with that, they had counting the money, because we didn't have anybody in particularly looking after it. So, like my wife was one that she had her accounting background, so we let her look after the money for us, and then we made the deposits and helped those things out. So it was an ongoing where without the wives supporting us, we wouldn't have been successful as we were.
Absolutely. And Little Bird also said you sometimes argue like a husband and wife. How did you work through the disagreements and keep moving forward?
No, we don't want to comment on that. But like a marriage, we learned to compromise. Sometimes we had to learn from our mistakes and go from there.
I think you just got to accept people's opinions, and everybody has a right to an opinion and how they want to do things. And I think that we didn't want to lose. We never did lose the focus of what we were doing this for.
Yeah.
And that was, like I say, for the athletes, for the city, for the Prince Albert Hockey Association. So that if you keep that focus there, I think the little trivial fights or whatever you want to call it was more enjoyable. Let's put it that way.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. If the next generation carries this forward, what should never change?
I think the focus would be to show that we can showcase a tournament that has lots of little, like I say, the perks that are what these kids get when they come to our tournament. We've always trying to try to give everybody 4 games all the time, that type of thing. Accommodate teams for travel, accommodate other hotel expectations. And like I say, that's a big job now, especially like I say when we're booking the hotels and having the teams go through us. But at least we've got control on that, or try anyway, kind of thing. So there's a lot of stuff that in the background, like I say, people don't look at all the aspects of putting on a tournament and the caliber of this tournament. Won't never know. So.
And I think just promoting female hockey and keeping it up so that they learn that these females have some place or some goal to look at in the future. Like we said earlier, they can go to college and play there. They can, even some of them have gone to the WPHL, that Professional Women's Hockey League. So that goal is there, where the boys always had that with NHL, but the girls never did have it. So it's nice to see that they do have something to look forward to.
And be able to try to tap on the shoulders of some of these girls that are playing at that level, and their commitment now, and seeing if we can get them to come in just goes to show that we do have resources that came. They started in PA and now look at where they are now. So yeah.
Luke and Jim, if you had one message to leave for future players and volunteers, what would it be?
Well, I'd say that everyone has a role in making the tournament a success, and just to remember that there's no individualism in this. It's all one big organization, and one to make everything. Everybody has to work together.
Teamwork. It takes team. Hockey is a team sport, and these tournaments are basically a team. So, and then like I say, you'll never regret because whatever you do will always reflect on your I guess will always reflect that you always were somebody that whatever you can do for somebody else is always going to come back to you, is what I always say. So.
Luke and Jim, thank you for everything you've given to this tournament and female hockey not only in Prince Albert, but also to the province of Saskatchewan. Your time and commitment and belief have made a long-lasting difference, and I will never be forgotten.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tanner.
Thank you.